You're banned from Thanksgiving until you apologize to your cousin, my mother announced over speakerphone. I could hear clinking glasses and laughter in the background, like my humiliation was tonight's entertainment. Then someone chuckled, "She can eat leftovers in the garage." What they didn't know was that for 3 years, I had been silently funding their entire lifestyle. And what happened when I finally said enough would change everything. My name is Emma Rodriguez. I'm 28. And this is how I learned that family loyalty can sometimes be a one-way street paved with your own money. If you've ever been treated like the family disappointment while secretly being the family ATM, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. Because this story proves the most powerful word in any language is no. I work as a junior financial analyst, the kind of person who thrives on order, turning chaos into clean spreadsheets, missed payments into stable credit, and numbers into solvable puzzles. I wasn't wealthy. I drove a 2015 Honda that groaned every time I turned left, rented a studio apartment the size of a generous closet, and ate more ramen noodles than I care to admit. But I had something my family seemed allergic to: discipline, organization, and the sense to pay bills on time. What I lacked was the backbone to say no when they needed help. It started innocently. 2 years ago, my dad had heart surgery. Insurance covered most, but not all. Those leftover medical bills felt like financial landmines about to detonate under my parents. So I stepped in, because that's what family does. You help when someone is drowning. But the problem was, once I threw them a life preserver, they mistook me for a permanent lifeguard. First, it was just the family phone plan. "Just until next month, Emma. You're so good with tech." Then the internet bill. "We'll pay you back soon." Then dad's prescription copays. Then mom's car payment. Each quiet yes from me became the floor they walked on, without ever looking down to see who was holding them up. My own sacrifices went unnoticed. I was eating canned soup while their mortgage was auto-paid from my account. They laughed about my old car while I was the reason their Wi-Fi worked for streaming their shows. In the family group chat, they mocked my little contributions, not realizing, or maybe not caring, that my so-called little contributions were the difference between them keeping their lights on or living in the dark. Then came the moment that broke something inside me. On Tuesday, the dreaded ping of the family group chat lit up my phone. "Final headcount for Thanksgiving." My mother listed names scrolling down like a VIP guest roster, but my name wasn't there. I stared at the screen, reread it, convinced I had missed something, convinced there had to be invisible ink reserving my place at the table I had funded. I typed back, "Did you forget to include me?" The typing dots appeared, then disappeared. Finally, my cousin Marcus replied, "Limited seating." "Maybe try Christmas if you can behave yourself if I can behave myself." As if I were a naughty child instead of the adult keeping their roof from caving in. I called Mom, my voice tight with disbelief. On the other end, I heard dishes clinking, laughter, the background music of a family feast already underway, without me. "You're not invited until you apologize to Marcus for embarrassing him at his promotion dinner," she said in that cutting tone only mothers master. I reminded her, "By embarrassing him, you mean asking why he keeps borrowing rent money while bragging about crushing his sales quotas?" My chest burned. In the background, Uncle Pete's voice boomed. "There she goes again, little Miss Accountant." That nickname stung, because it wasn't affectionate. It was designed to diminish me. In their world, caring about money, even your own money, made you petty. Something inside me snapped. I swallowed hard and said evenly, "Fine. But if you want drama, then stop using my debit card for autopay on half your bills." The line went silent. Then someone slammed a door, and Mom hung up. 10 minutes later, Aunt Carmen texted me, "Don't make this about money." Family comes first. That same night, she posted a Facebook photo of the Thanksgiving table, long and glowing with candles, everyone tagged and smiling, except one obvious absence: me. I stared at my phone until my apartment walls blurred. That was when the outline of a decision I'd been avoiding all year finally came into focus: to stop being their safety net and start being their equal. Thanksgiving Day hit me like a slap, delivered by social media. Photos of golden turkeys, overloaded tables, captions like blessed beyond measure. Around 3 p.m., Mom texted, "Saved you a plate." Porch pickup after 6 porch pickup, like I was DoorDash instead of her daughter. That evening, I drove past their house. On the front steps sat a foil-wrapped plate, already cooling in the November air. A neighbor's cat sniffed at it, more interested in my Thanksgiving dinner than my family had been. I left it there. The next morning, I went downtown for coffee and a bagel, trying to reclaim some dignity in small rebellions. That's when Aunt Carmen appeared in line beside me. "Emma, sweetie," she said loudly, "she's been going through a tough time lately." Very sensitive about success. She wasn't talking to me. She was explaining me to the cashier like I was a problem customer. Someone behind me muttered, "Yikes." I walked out without ordering, sat in my car, and stared through the fog of my own breath until my phone rang. Marcus. His voice was casual, almost cheerful. "Hey, can you front me 800 for Ashley's Christmas present? I'll Venmo you back Monday, promise." The audacity nearly stole my words. This man who helped ban me from Thanksgiving Now wanted nearly $1,000. When I didn't respond, he added, "We'd all feel better if you just apologized and stopped being so difficult." You know, family takes care of each other. Family takes care of each other. The phrase that had justified 3 years of one-sided generosity. I hung up. Instead, I opened my notes app and began typing. Dates, amounts, reasons: Dad's surgery, Mom's car payment, Marcus's rent, Aunt Carmen's minimum payments. At the top of the page, I wrote, "What they don't know is about to save me." That evening, Dad called. "Just need a quick 400 for a security deposit before the bank closes," he said, like my money was magic. In his casual tone, I heard 3 years of assumptions that had shrunk my life to make theirs easier. For the first time, I ignored him. I silenced my phone and let it buzz itself to death. Because what they didn't know was that I had receipts, screenshots of texts, bank statements, every dollar I'd covered. What they didn't know was that I still controlled the phone plan, the internet login, the auto pay for their mortgage. Things they'd never bothered to learn. And what they didn't know was that I had a mentor at work, Grace, who once told me, "Boundaries aren't walls. They're love with a spine." So that Saturday, I bought a plain binder and began assembling what I called the reckoning. Printed bank statements, highlighted transactions, copies of texts. The cover page read, "This is what I did for you. And this is what I won't do anymore." By Sunday evening, I sat at my desk like a bomb technician, carefully diffusing the ties that bound me. Cancel mortgage auto pay. Remove my card from the electric company. Transfer the phone plan to prepaid accounts. All clean, all legal, all under my control. And with every click, I felt lighter. Monday morning, Marcus posted an Instagram story. A table of leftovers with the caption, "Real family loyalty isn't about money." The irony would have been funny if it hadn't been tragic. I muted him. That afternoon at the grocery store, I overheard Uncle Pete boasting, "We've got her back in line now. She'll come around once she realizes she needs us more than we need her." I kept walking, bought my groceries, and put the receipt in my wallet like a contract with my future self. Wednesday, Mom left a voicemail. "Since you refuse to apologize, don't bother coming to Christmas either. And spare us the dramatic spreadsheets about money. Nobody wants to hear it." My generosity had been turned into a weapon against me. I deleted the voicemail, sat in the quiet of my apartment, and for the first time, silence felt like freedom instead of loneliness. Then Friday came. My phone lit up with frantic calls. I finally answered. Mom's voice was shrill. The mortgage payment bounced. The bank is calling about late fees. What happened? Something heavy in me settled like a stone at the bottom of a clear lake. I'll be over in an hour, I said, and grabbed the binder. When I walked into my parents' kitchen, the house felt smaller than I remembered. Blinds half closed, light spilling weakly across the table where forgotten mugs of coffee had grown a thin film. I set the binder down in front of them with both hands, like evidence in a trial. This stays private, I said firmly, cutting my eyes toward the living room where the television hummed. Dad looked tired, older than his years. He opened the binder, his eyes scanning the first page, and his voice faltered. We thought Marcus was helping with some of this. I rotated the binder toward him. Marcus told you that because I was the one paying. 3 years of transfers right here. Mortgage, utilities, phone plan, prescriptions. Mom's fingers shook as she flipped through highlighted bank statements. Every bill she had dismissed as little contributions. They stared at pages filled with my sacrifices that had kept their world running while mine shrank. You banned me from Thanksgiving until I apologized, I said quietly. So I stopped paying for the holiday you celebrated without me. And I'm finished funding the family that's ashamed of me. Just then, the front door creaked. Marcus walked in, froze when he saw the binder spread out. His voice came sharp. You're really going to do this to them? I slid a plastic sleeve across the table toward him. His text messages. His promises highlighted in yellow. The endless, I'll pay you Friday, that turned into silence. He opened his mouth, but no words came. You can call it betrayal, I told him, but I call it a boundary. Dad rubbed his temples, struggling. We didn't realize. No, I cut him off. You didn't want to realize. You wanted me to be the solution without being your equal. They both blinked, startled, when I added, I'm not asking for the money back. I never will, but I'm done being your bank. I tapped the binder once. Inside are instructions for setting up your own auto pays and accounts. You're adults. Act like it. Marcus tried again, softer now. You can't just abandon them like this. I laughed, a small, tired laugh. I'm not abandoning them. I'm treating them like the capable adults they are. That includes you, Marcus. He looked away first. Dad's voice cracked. What about Christmas? I stood, my chair scraping against the tile. I'll see how I feel, I said, and for the first time in years, I meant it. Walking out of that house felt like stepping into sunlight after a long winter. For the first time in 3 years, I felt lighter instead of emptied. In the following weeks, the family group chat buzzed with awkward requests for help setting up bills. No volunteers came forward. Marcus sent a single eye-roll emoji and went quiet. Mom texted me a casserole recipe like nothing had happened. I didn't respond. And the silence? It didn't ache anymore. It healed. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop doing what's killing you, even when people call it selfish. Have you ever had to set financial boundaries with family who took advantage of your generosity? Share your story in the comments. Someone out there needs to know they're not alone. And remember this: no is a complete sentence. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're self-care with a spine.